A man passes by an alleyway, and in it he can see a guy repeatedly hitting his head against the brick wall of the building. The passerby then asks, "Sir, why are you hitting your head against the wall?" The guy in the alleyway responds, "Because it feels so good when I stop." Think about that. It's applicable. So Southpaw, it's one of several boxing movies we're actually going to be getting in the next year to 2 years. And it stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Billy Hope, who is the reigning junior middleweight champion of the world. However, Billy's life takes a dramatic turn for the worse as a horrific tragedy occurs in his life. And things start to completely spiral out of control for Billy. So Billy's forced to change his ways in order to redeem himself to the ones that he loves, as well as to the boxing community, and to show what he's made of and what will be the hardest fight of his life. All right, let's get the good out of the way first. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in this is fantastic. In the ring, he is a savage, ferocious, off his leash, mad dog. I mean, even his initial fighting style is that way. It's that Rocky style where he'll take punches to the head, he doesn't defend himself, but every time he gets hit, he just gets madder and madder and madder to the point that he just freaks out and just annihilates the person. It's very convincing. He deserves a ton of props for getting as in great of shape as he did. I mean, he just looks phenomenal. Looks like a badass. And you know what, here we go. We need to make a new cinematic universe with Tom Hardy from Warrior and Jake Gyllenhaal from Southpaw. Let's get them in the ring or get them in the octagon or whatever together. I would pay. That would probably be, the best fight we've seen in recent memory. Screw you, Mayweather and Pacquiao. However, piece of advice, throw on subtitles when you watch this movie because you won't be able to understand half of what Jake Gyllenhaal says. I haven't had this hard of a time trying to understand someone since Brad Pitt showed up in Snatch. And that's all I have in terms of positives, to be honest. Even like the ring and the fighting in the ring was cool, but it was kind of done from some certain perspectives that I didn't really love, which is fine. I just didn't love it, so I'm not going to give it a hard time for that, but I'm also not going to praise it either. It's just call it, neutral. So, all that being said, let's get into the negatives. Let's start with the Weinstein Company. You sons of bitches. All right, so I'm talking to you watching this review. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen the trailers for this, don't watch any trailers. If you're interested in the movie, go see the movie. Now, I'm going to get into something that they spoil in the trailers. And I don't want to spoil it for you, so if you haven't seen the trailers, haven't seen the movie, go see the movie, come back and watch this review later. But now I'm going to get into something they spoil in the trailers. If you've seen the trailers, you know that Billy's wife, during an altercation that he kind of gets involved with, it's kind of partially his fault. He should have just gone home, but he didn't. He went after this guy who's being a jerk to him. And in this altercation, a gun got taken out, a shot went off, and his wife got hit and she dies. I know that some people might not have thought this was a big deal. To me, it was a huge deal. Because the second that I started getting interested in their relationship, the second that I started having these thoughts and these feelings and any kind of connection with these characters and relating to them, it just fell apart. Because I remembered she's gonna die within the first half hour of this movie. Like, that's just terrible. The thing is, it's one thing if I sit there and go, let's say I've never seen Jake Gyllenhaal in anything except for Bubble Boy. I don't even remember seeing it, but let's just say it was a bad performance. Me not being able to shake his performance in Bubble Boy, that's my fault. I should be able to push that aside and give his performance in this movie a fair shake. But I cannot unsee a trailer. I know, and it's in my brain now, that she dies. How can I possibly get closer with these characters if I already know a huge plot line in this movie? How is it possible? It's not. I mean, maybe it is for some people. It's not for me. And actually, as a second positive, I should have mentioned this. That scene where she dies is horrifyingly tragic. Oh my God. I wanted to get up and leave. Not because I was offended, it was just affecting me that much. I was like, I can't be here. That's a compliment to the movie for evoking that kind of an emotional response with me, that I was so emotionally affected that I felt I needed to leave. good job, movie. But I don't take back what I said about the Weinstein Company, or and if it's not them, whoever the buck stops with. How shame on you for that crap, man. You should be able to figure out a better way of conveying in the trailer that a problem happens that causes him to spiral into this horrible death trap without having to give that huge plot development away. Shame on you for that. But as much as I'd love to blame this all on the Weinstein Company and the studio, I gotta move on to the writer Kurt Sutter and the director Antoine Fuqua. Unfortunately, what didn't work for me is what happens after Billy's wife dies. And what happens is Billy kind of goes nuts, which is understandable. But look, that all aside, I wouldn't have minded him going through this process. That's okay. There could be some really cool character development there, but that's what didn't work for me, is how much we just sat in this just shitty time of his life for like 45 minutes. And the character development that actually occurred was a lot quicker. The other thing I didn't like is that the character development that I saw that happened was more so in the boxing ring and in the gym. And I just thought that was kind of like, I don't know, a contrived and shallow way of showing like, oh, how he's learning, how he's becoming a better person. You know, oh, he's learning to, focus his fighting style instead of just going out in a berserker rage. How does that come back into the real world? I would have loved them to pull a Good Will Hunting and have him like see him go through meeting a psychiatrist and watching him do it that way. I mean, sure, you can and see the character development that way. That's what I mean. And you can sit there and say, oh yeah, but Chad, isn't that just going to be a ripoff of Good Will Hunting? Yeah, but let's be honest. This whole movie is one big ripoff of an assortment of boxing movies. Rocky, Rocky 5, The Champ. It's going to rip off something. I'd prefer a ripoff of Good Will Hunting than all of those. And there wasn't enough payout. There wasn't enough payoff for what we were going through. And frankly, the payoff ended up being really corny and cheesy, really generic. If anything, I would have rathered them continuing down a really tragic, sad, twisted path. Let's just keep riding this train where it's going. Let's pull a Requiem for a Dream or something, or $1 Million Baby. I was seriously considering just walking out of this movie, but I was compelled to stay because of Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, as well as the developing relationship between he and Forrest Whitaker that I found intriguing. Unfortunately, it just ends in such a climax. Nonetheless, I was compelled to stay. So according to my grading scale, which you can reference in the description box below, I gotta give this a 1.5 out of 5. Guys, those are my thoughts. Take it or leave it. But what do you guys think? Are you excited about seeing Southpaw? And have you seen it? And if you have, did you have the same reaction that I did? And if you didn't, and especially if you didn't, please comment below and let me know what it was that you liked about the movie. What was it that, that did it for you? Anyways, guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you watching my review. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you'll get updates on the weekly reviews that I come out with, and we'll be able to do this again soon. I'll check you later.
Check you later. Check you later. Hey, man, get off my case, man. Oh, man. Chicks don't want to hear that shit.